So, congratulations once again to Mark Ashby, Kevin Kong, Isabel Koenig, and Daniel Roy. Okay, so we're on now to the People's Choice Award. An interesting discussion. We had, as you can tell, two parallel processes emerge in this whole experience. And what we did back at the beginning, the jury deliberation that we had actually took place about a month ago now, maybe not even that long. It seems like it was fairly recent when we went through things. But we were running at the same time, as you remember from the event at the Roundhouse, a parallel process, one in which we invited a People's Choice winner to be selected. And I just want to tell you a little bit about how that process unfolded, because it was quite interesting to us. We gave the jury the opportunity to bring up whichever ones they wanted into the discussion. I think that was really amazing. I think it really taught us a lot, and it was a very intense discussion around what should be put into their shortlist and so on. What we did with the People's Choice shortlist was a little bit of a different experiment. We called together, and for those that were at the Roundhouse, forgive me, this will be a little bit of old news, but what we did is we called together a team of about 35 or 40 folks, random folks, folks that were users of public space, some seniors, some youth. We got some professionals from different folks, people that weren't associated with the Vancouver Public Space Network or had some past contributions, but one that really we hoped was reflective of the type of diversity that existed in the city. So we had some engineers in there, and we did have some folks that were of professional backgrounds as well. All sorts of things there. There have been, I should say, in the history of discussions in Vancouver recently about civic culture, a couple of very tight races. One of which I was trying to Photoshop a tear on Wally's face today, but it seemed like that was a bit too cheeky. In any event, we've had a couple of close races, and this one was indeed a very close race. So close, in fact, that we have some surprises this evening. We are going to award two People's Choice Awards. Now, the reason for this, and I will tell you this. The reason for this is that some very interesting things happened when we took the designs out. As you know, we encouraged people to vote. It was something that was to be decided through voting. So I have to tell you, what we did is we ran an online voting, and we ran some public events. We went down to English Bay, and we laid all of the drawings out there for a good long afternoon. We got votes that way. We collected votes at a couple of festivals around town, at a planning conference. We tried to cover the bases as best we could with our resources. We also had a whole bunch of ballots that were cast on the evening of our event at the Roundhouse. So we had a bunch of different means of gauging people's response. And we decided, based on what emerged from those different events that we had and the type of voting patterns that took place, that it really made sense to award two awards, which is going to be a challenge because we only had one of them carved. So we're not going to give it away this evening. We're actually going to take it so that the designer can make another one that looks just like it, and no one will know the difference. Here's the story behind People's Choice winner number one, which we are calling the Populist. And by the way, those that know me well know I tend to, and this is a little nerdy, I realize, but I tend to agonize over things like democratic process and ethics and stuff like that. It's a bit of a, well, I don't know, the councillors are dealing with it, but in any event, there was a clear dilemma that emerged in the way that these two awards took place. There was, and we'll start with the populist one, there was a very dramatic type of voting pattern that took place with the award that we're going to show you first. When we took the tally from the votes that were cast at the Roundhouse, this one was head and shoulders above the other ones. When we counted up, when the initial advisory committee, the 35 folks I was just telling you about, when they point scored all others, this was far and away the one that was in the lead. And when we went out into our public events and our sort of paper ballots were cast around, this was the entry that really seemed to captivate people. And so we're calling this the Populist winner because this was the one that seemed to speak to a lot of people, I guess a plurality of folks in public events. I'd like to present to you our first People's Choice winner, you'll indulge me, the Populist. Could I get a drum roll, please? You guys are so accommodating. I love it. Love it. Okay. Number 31, the Hapa Collective. Do you like donuts? This one belongs to Joe Fry, Annika Korzeniewski, and Doran Fishman. Are they here this evening? Joe is traveling. There he is. Okay.